What? What's that? Oh, breaking news, breaking news. JL of the War Room with JL has recently come under fire for her manifesto, Be fearless, be faithful, be visionary, and be victorious. News at 11. Greetings, warriors, and welcome back to the War Room with JL, and I am your host, JL. Well, evening news, it's true. I was gently confronted by someone who felt that there's no such thing as fearlessness because we all have fear. Yeah, I've heard that a time or two, or three, or four. But this is the first time someone has made a point to confront me gently in lieu of inquiry. And I thought to myself, it's never really the faithful, visionary, victorious part that causes concern. It's that pesky word fearless that causes all of the controversy. And I know this manifesto is a bold, declarative statement. But who knew it would be so provocative? I know. I should add provocateur to my brand. JL the Provocateur. I think I like it. Now, I actually agree with my critic. Yes, we all experience fear. But we can still be fearless. Did I say something wrong? You don't get a cookie for doing something that is easy for you. Fearlessness is going forward in spite of your trepidation, in spite of your hesitation. Fear and fearlessness are not polar opposites. Just as failure is a part of success, fear is a part of fearlessness. Fearless people allow themselves room to be scared, but a mansion to go for it anyway. Get it? Room, mansion. You only give yourself a little tiny room to be scared, but a whole mansion to go for your vision. See the spatial comparison? Don't mind my corniness because I am on one today. Anyway, in this segment, let's dismantle the perceived conflict between fear and fearlessness and explore the connection between the two. Stay tuned. There is no fearlessness without fear. It's like this. Experiencing fear equates to one step back. But being fearless equates to 5 steps forward. So net, you're still ahead 4 steps. Because when you take a step back, you're losing forward momentum. So to push yourself past your fears into positive territory requires a certain level of stamina and a certain type of guts to not only overcome what is holding you back, but to also propel yourself past the place where you started when the fear first hit. I'll give you another analogy. I was a sprinter on my high school track team. I ran the 100, 200, and 400 meter dashes. And if you've ever seen a track meet, you know that sprinters start on the ground, on their knees, in starting blocks, behind the starting line. And you try and get your fingers as close to right behind the starting line as possible, just enough so that you don't default, but also give yourself every millimeter of advantage you think you can get. So you're really starting at a deficit on the ground behind the starting line. Now for the 100, 200, that finish line, it is way down there. It is hazy, you can't even see it. You are just hoping that you run, walk, crawl across the finish line, whatever way works best. And for the 400, you have to run all the way around the track, which seems like forever and a day, especially when you have to run at full speed for a sustained period of time. So you're really starting at a deficit on the ground behind the starting line. So then the starter says, on your mark. And this is where you get yourself in your blocks. And for me, this is where the queasiness that I already felt was bubbling up and intensifying, and my stomach just drops. Then the starter says, get set. Yeah, so you raise your hips up, and since my head is already looking down, I do feel like I'm going to throw up. And I promise myself I am never doing this again. Every single track meet, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here? This is awful. Who told me to do this? I'm never doing this again. And then that is where the gun goes off. Now here is where you have to use every fiber of every single muscle in your body to propel yourself from a stagnant deficit to full speed quickly. But you know, if you didn't start on the ground, on your knees, behind the starting line, you would not have the same aerodynamic power to reach that full speed quickly. The relationship between fear and fearlessness is exactly like that. You feel nervous and nauseous. You promise yourself you are never again going to place yourself in this position. But there is something in you that drives you to push past the nervousness, the nausea, the fear, and use every fiber of your being to move forward and not stop until you reach the finish line. That is fearless. Fearlessness is starting at a fear deficit, but coming out ahead. The difference between fear and intuition. Some argue that fear is a form of self-preservation, but I respectfully disagree. Fear is more irrational because in your heart of hearts, you know that your fear is not rooted in reality or even probability, but you feel the way you feel just because you just do. Whereas self-preservation is more rooted in intuition and a heightened sense of awareness. And to illustrate this point, let's say you're walking down a dark alleyway by yourself and you may see something rustling in the bushes maybe a few yards ahead. And it could be fear because maybe you've been attacked before. Or it could be a heightened sense of intuition and awareness that's telling you, you know what, this may not be the safest place for me to be, so let me turn around and go back. There are still others that would say that women have a stronger sense of intuition than men do. And I would argue that men have very strong intuition as well. It's just manifested in different ways. So this is really just for everyone. But understanding the difference between giving into your fear versus tapping into your naturally intuitive nature is like understanding the difference between Eveline, the Wicked Witch of the East or West or wherever she's from versus Glenda, the Good Witch of the North. Understanding the difference can save your life. So what? Go forward anyway. Story time! Okay, so I was never that little girl who wanted to be famous when she grew up. Not celebrity famous, not Instagram famous, although Instagram was not a thing when I was a little girl. But none of that. Never wanted to be famous. And that holds true even to today. I am a strongly introverted ambivert who, if given the choice, would not seek to be the center of attention. when I moved out here in my early 20s, everybody was going to the club in the city. And as much as I loved to dance, I was never that chick who was like in the middle of the dance floor like, hey. No, I was more of like in the back of the VIP in the dark, watching all of the goings on around me, and probably watching somebody's purse who was in the middle of the dance floor. So, as you can imagine, filming and actually posting videos is an act of fearlessness for me. I bought this camera that I'm recording on right now 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago, actually. But I just started doing YouTube videos 4 months ago. Right before I hit that publish button on YouTube or post it to Twitter, LinkedIn, or send it to my distribution list, I feel overwhelmingly self-conscious, nervous, nauseous, and I can come up with a million ways as to how my content could be better, or maybe that I shouldn't even post at all. And if I'm being 100% honest, you know, part of me kind of hopes that nobody sees it so I can be, you know, comfortable in fulfilling my calling, but not have to deal with the exposure. I mean, is it too silly? Is it too serious? Am I mumbling? Do my points even make sense? Is this my good side, or maybe it's this side? And even though the small introvert or extrovert part of me pushes past any fears of everyone is looking at me, and knows that if you give me the mic, the stage, the camera, I am going to do my absolute best to kill it, I still do not have an acceptable level to me of comfort with the exposure and the attention that I am putting out there willingly, I mean, of my own volition. But you know what? I'm gonna keep doing it anyway. As long as this is a part of my vision, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to push past the nausea, the nervousness, the self-consciousness, because I know that this is setting me up for my next chapter, whatever it is. And its purpose is bigger than what I can see right before me at this present time. And I know that I have not been given the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And it's about time that I actually start believing it. I said all of this to say that so you're fearful of something that may ultimately be for your benefit, do it anyway. And just as importantly, understand what fear looks like for you, because it comes in many forms. Sometimes it may be I'm not intelligent enough or attractive enough, or I don't have enough resources, enough support, time, love, money. I'm not good enough or worthy enough. All of these things are shrouded in fear, but it's okay. Give yourself permission to feel these feelings, and then close the door to the room that we were talking about at the top of the video, and inhabit the rest of your mansion that gives you space to explore without judgment. Adopting this mindset is essential not only for your evolution, but there are others that need to see your fearlessness in action to ignite theirs. Be fearless, even in the face of fear. Well, warriors, we have come to the end of another video, and I hope that it has encouraged you to go forward anyway. Now, here is the challenge for this week.
How do you process fear? Secondly, when you are fearful of something, how does it affect your life? And lastly, how can you adopt a do-it-anyway mindset to transform your fears into fearlessness? Comment below with your thoughts.
As always, thank you for watching. And until next time, my brave, bold, and bodacious warriors, be fearless, be faithful, be visionary, be victorious.
Hey warriors, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. Also, follow me on Twitter at War Room Coaching for even more business and life motivation. Have a visionary day.